Hello everybody, Pinstripe here. What is up with you guys? Today got some more Hogs of War. I apologise deeply that it has taken me 11 months to make this next episode as we progress on to mission 10 here, where we see the first implementation of artillery into the single player campaign. No idea why it's taken me so long. Time has just gone so fast over this past year. There's been a lot that's been going on that I have explained, but I want to be churning out way more of this single player campaign for you guys, so we can kind of progress further into Hogs of War in terms of the campaign, get into more of the harder missions, and maybe experiment a bit more with what we can do with the game. I know it's old, and I know that there is still a firm fan base for a lot of people, but yeah, artillery is the main topic of today. As you can see, I positioned my pyrotechnic, who has the most health of 140, in that little bunker there. I apologise as well, as I've said before, if you hear any trains with where my new house is. I'm right next to a train track, so that might be a common occurrence because this gameplay is pretty long, so it's going to be a long ass commentary. Also, it is quite long as well because I wasn't expecting such an accurate shot there from the enemy pig and the artillery. As you can see, they have an abundance of weapons ranging from long range shells that do like 60 damage. Those are kind of the default. They've got gas shells, they've got mines, they've got heavier shells that do like 100 damage, so they are pretty deadly. They range between, artillery ranges between 100 and 200 health, depending on the mission. At this point in time, they do have 100 health, so it's not too bad. So if my bombardier here hadn't taken so much damage, I probably would have then used my mortar and just destroyed both of them, because as you can see, I mean, one's on 80, one's on 37, so we're already kind of packing quite a punch already, but it's more about taking cover at this point, because, I mean, the enemy aren't really that accurate with their shots, but as you can see, he planted some mines there, so I've kind of got to position my scout away from those mines, kind of bear in mind where they are, and just go from there. So the enemy also has an enemy scout who's kind of hiding in a box, so we're going to take him out in a moment, just going to deal some form of damage, get him out of his hide position, and he can't really do too much because he's only got a standard rifle, but he is going to use his gas and inflict some kind of damage. But this is where your medic really comes in, and he can come in and heal everybody up, so it's almost as if you're starting the game afresh once the medic has taken his turn. So I advise moving your medic's position before you start the game. Move him to be to have his turn, say directly after both of your gunners and your either your spy or your sapper. Just don't put him last, because you know you want to be healing people as soon as possible. And of course, you know, I mean, he's not really a long-range character, so have him deal some damage when you can to any pigs that are nearby, so taking down the scout there and dishing out some form of damage. The main issue with this map is that the two gunners inside the artillery always have the height advantage, so to get the metal that is placed inside that metal case, you kind of have to make your way slowly up the mountain from going sort of behind where the artillery is and making your way around, which can take a long time because you have 45 seconds per turn, which isn't enough time to progress your way up the mountain, but I would advise taking your sapper there as soon as possible, because I mean, he's not really a long range character, but he can see where those mines have been placed by the artillery, and you know, he can go from there. I mean, he's got full health at the moment, so I think I end up taking some of the health, one of the health packs that's like maybe 10 health, and then throwing a grenade up to where the artillery is, because if you know that you're not going to get there in time, you may as well dish out some kind of damage rather than just walking to a certain area and doing nothing other than taking a health pack. And it was 20 health as well, so that does him quite well for getting up the rest of the mountain, because even if the artillery is destroyed, there are of course still pigs inside there that can still deal damage from top of the mountain. I remember as a kid I would never really go for that extra promotion point, but I mean, I figured for this entire series I may as well try and 100% it as much as possible, especially because this is technically the easier level, because obviously if you make your way through the whole single player campaign, it's kind of on the easier level, and then if you 100% it, or have all your pigs alive at the end of the final mission, it then kind of progresses into doing the whole campaign all over again, but it's twice as hard. So that will be interesting as time progresses. But taking down one of the artilleries there, as you can see, they have a simple gunner inside, and he has kind of been flopped down the mountain, which is a bit handier for us because now our bombardier has come out and he can hopefully deal some damage to the other artillery or to the gunner who has been popped out already, seeing as he has 55 health and there are certain mines around, which obviously I can't really see and I can't remember because I'm quite forgetful as to where they've been shot and placed by the artillery, but dishing it out from kind of the same distance and dealing a decent amount of damage. 45 health, that's not too bad. So I think my key piece of advice I can give when you have a spy on your team is to use the pickpocket as much as possible. For those of you who don't know what that is, basically it allows you to walk up to a target, pickpocket them, and take any weapon at random that they may have in their arsenal. So if it's a gunner, for instance here, the spy has, I think, 3 pickpockets, so he can take out everything that this gunner has. So when it comes to him having a turn, he has no weapons, therefore he can't shoot anything, so he kind of has to skip his go, which is very helpful for you because that means that you essentially get 1 free turn to deal additional damage to the enemy. So now that my spy has some form of long range weapon, he can then go ahead and deal some damage to the gunner that is atop of the artillery. Unfortunately, my aim isn't that great sometimes. I don't really know why, and as you can see there, he has skipped his go, so it's my turn again. And I'm thinking, do I shoot this dude? No, I'll keep him alive because again, when it comes back round to his turn, it gives me more of an advantage. So I'm gonna make my medic just take out the scout that's down there, because I mean, yeah, he's in a box, so I can't deal all the damage necessary to kill him. If he was out of his box, then he would die at this point, but unfortunately it only deals 9 damage rather than the full 30. But again, I mean, what can he really do other than hide? For a while now, I have been thinking about eventually doing a speed run of the whole single player campaign, whether it be PC or the PlayStation version. Seeing as I played this game 1,000,000 times, I'm sure I could have a go at it without getting things wrong, because there are ways of going into the multiplayer settings and like halving the amount of health. That way that when you then play the single player, everyone has half health, and it takes you obviously half the time to complete missions, and that does make it a little bit more challenging because obviously your team also has half health as well, so it's more likely for you to lose players. But it's certainly something I've been wanting to do for quite some time now. So as you can see, I've got the saboteur to the top of the mountain, but yet again running out of time, so why not dish out some damage with the shrapnel explosive grenade once again. And the shrapnel grenade can do some interesting things sometimes. If you time the explosion correctly, whether it's like directly next to the pig you're shooting at, or just sometimes kind of near them, it will deal the explosive damage and the shrapnel damage at the same time, almost as if the shrapnels that kind of shoot out in different directions kind of implode. It's really strange. It's happened a few times, and I don't really know why. Maybe it's a bug, who knows, but yeah, apologies again if you hear a train in the background. But we're pretty much going to do the same thing here with an airburst. Obviously that deals additional damage with the additional shells. Unfortunately not killing the pig there, because he's kind of the most important target at the moment, as he can rain fire down from that mountaintop. But we're going to deal an additional 45 damage here with the mortar to kind of deal the final blow. And then overall from here, it is just about basically playing cleanup. So with this additional damage, all we really have to do is skip ahead to the saboteur's turn, get him to blow up the metal case around the additional promotion point, and then finish up the final 2 pigs to clean up the round. So overall, this mission isn't exactly as difficult as it may seem, because it's really all to do with how accurate the artillery is on top of the hill, and the fact that they have the main height advantage is kind of the only disadvantage that you have. So the time taken traversing up the hill to get the promotion point is probably the most dangerous, because you can use
your long-range characters to deal some damage from afar and not get them too engrossed in the battle, and then everybody else can either heal or deal damage to the scout that is fairly close to everybody else. So as you can see, for the next like 2 minutes of this mission, the enemy pig that is left will just continuously skip his go, which is perfect for us because, I mean, I can just use the medic, heal up everybody else just in case there's any additional blunders that happen, because you never know with this game. Certain crazy things can happen, and I find that if there is an enemy pig who continuously skips his go for a long period of time, then it seems as though their enemy team will drop down a free crate for them directly on top of their head, usually a bazooka, so that they have some form of weapon or some way of retaliating against you. As you can see, as it comes in here, he has his bazooka again, so he can deal some form of damage, which, like I said, you know, I was pretty prepared for. With the medic, if I hadn't healed up the spy there and he'd gone for him, it would have been a bit of an issue. And that's where I find that you, if you have a single pig that is dealing a lot of damage, you get face to face with them, because usually the AI will respond with close-up weapons, so usually pistols, things that don't do as much damage as the long-range weapons. Stupidly here, I managed to step on a mine and kind of... yeah, it wasn't clever. I should have known where those mines were still placed, so again here he's going to do a little bit more damage, and things get a little bit hairy towards the end, which obviously isn't what I wanted, because I felt like this mission should have been very simple. I played this mission 1,000 times and I've done it different ways, so I was quite surprised how accurate they were at the very beginning of this match. At the end of the day, though, like I said, you just position your pigs in front of or close to the enemy, and they will resort to using short-range weapons. Considering this pig does not have short-range weapons, all he can do is skip his go, otherwise he risks damaging himself. So the AI is clever enough to realize when not to use long-range weapons, but there are kind of funny instances across the single-player campaign where ridiculous things can happen, and there can just be stupid instances where the AI just makes no sense whatsoever, which I would like to highlight in future videos. I would also like to apologize, because it has taken me about 2 years since I've started this series and we're only on mission 10, so I would like to formally say that I will be making more frequent Hogs of War videos and kind of increasing the amount of time that I'm playing the single player, and I'm putting out videos for it, because I do also want to move on to other things, like focusing on single weapons, talking more about other strategies and stuff, just more things to do with the game that are a little bit more dynamic than sitting and talking for 12 minutes about a single level, because I know that that can get pretty mundane. So as this final pig dies, we have conquered Australia, and it's now time to move on to slightly more complicated missions that require a little bit more strategy. And as you conquer each section of the map, you are rewarded with more promotion points, so that means that we can level up our pigs a little bit more and make things a bit more interesting. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on this mission and the game as a whole. Love to know your thoughts, and I will catch you in the next one, which will be very soon, because I'll be making more of these videos. Catch y'all later!